Well, I like
We're live.
I'd rather have it that way.
Who's that?
I'll go get it this time
Yeah, we did a city tour in San Diego and San Francisco. The guy we had in San Francisco just met with a nice guy. He says, I don't have anything going on this afternoon. He says, if you people still want it, I'll take you around.
Wow.
And he took us down on a Golden Gate Bridge.
That's really nice.
So he got a nice tip.
Mister, I tell you that you would have been right on target all the time. I just found out.
Yes, thank you.
How about if I
Sweetie pie.
It sounded dire. I mean, she was going to die this week. And she survived. And so far they haven't she's going to be out and they're still not thinking about it. I don't know if
Hey, Mark, thanks for your email.
Oh, okay.
I have to check my junk email. No, I thought it was good. I liked it. And we actually got a couple other emails from other people, too. So, take care of that, baby. Are you just going to sit here?
I am. I'm just looking to see if there's anybody who doesn't have it.
Sit on the end up. Isn't that nice of you for permission for you to sit there?
Hey, Diane.
Hello.
Hi, Frank.
I thought you'd like to just go up there. But anyway, she's alive and well, and
It's like, okay, the sun's out, it's not ready. Everybody's out.
No, not yet. Yeah, the one taps it right away. For the summer.
It's all just old badgers. It's all well written. If it make you feel better, you can ring the bell.
No. Happy almost birthday. It's the same as Liz.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Mary Binger, and I am a volunteer. In fact, this morning, Pastor Claire is away at the annual meeting and conference of our National Association of Congregational Christian Churches. Sharon Binger and Cindy Parsons are also there as delegates. We hope they have an excellent experience. But in the meantime, let's ask the Holy Spirit to bless whatever happens this morning as volunteers worship together. So whoever you are and wherever you are on your life journey, you are welcome here among us as St. Croix United Church. Does anybody have any announcements? If you do, come on forward. Okay. Then, first of all, I want to thank Reverend Dan Warnes, who he and his wife just joined the church, so you see what happens. Just a few months ago, and already he's been tapped to volunteer to give the message this morning. So as we move into our service of worship, either sitting or standing, let's join with Kathleen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's share in our responsive call to worship. The way is long.
Let us go together.
The way is difficult.
Let us help each other.
The way is joyful.
Let us share it.
The way is Christ's, for Christ is the way.
Let us follow.
Let's sing our opening song in Sing Prayer and Praise number 123. Draw the circle wide, all verses.
Circle wide, drive wider still. Let this be our song when it stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Let us sing point of the circle, round the long creation turns. Nothing lost but held forever in God's gracious love.
Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song, no stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Let our hearts touch all horizons, so encompass great and small. Let our body know the Lord is faithful to God's call. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song, no stands alone, singing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Let the dreams to dream be larger than we've ever dreamed before. Let the dream of Christ be in us, conquer every door. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song, no one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide.
Confession is an ancient practice of our faith. This is a moment to pause and reflect on our own actions and inactions. The singing bowl invites us to open our hearts to God's abundant grace. Let us join together in our unison prayer of confession and longing. Loving God, you invite us to love you, our neighbors, and ourselves. Created and surrounded by love, we are made whole in loving, but sometimes lose our way. When we forget your infinite compassion for us, forgive us. When we withhold forgiveness from each other, forgive us. When we lose hope that we can ever love those who have hurt us, forgive us. Free us from all fear. Grant us grace that we may begin again. Amen. Friends, we have just asked God to remind us how to receive and offer compassion and forgiveness. Let's find a sense of peace in knowing we have been created with great capacity for practicing compassion. The peace of Christ be with you.
And also with you.
Let's share signs of peace to people online and with one another.
Peace.
Oh, good morning.
Still here.
Hi.
Good morning. Thank you. Peace.
I'm gonna go behind
Peace.
If there are any children, come on forward. Otherwise, open the child within you. Come on, Dad.
I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
So if we have some childish people,
Yes.
please,
look there.
please. Yeah, we'll have a little fun here in a moment. But first, I understand we sing happy birthday to Dolores, Rolf, Briar, Andrea, Forrest, Paul, Luke, and Shizuko.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dolores, Rolf, Briar, Andrea, Forrest, Paul, Luke, Shizuko. Happy birthday to you.
Well, anyone else want to join us? We're going to have a little demonstration here, if you're willing.
I've been accused of being childish.
Yeah.
Do you need someone to pout?
No, come on up. We're going to stand right here, right now. Come on up, kids. We'd had little children here. The point of this little experience is to see if we can live up to our name and be St. Croix united and be together, because the words of Jesus today are about unity and being one with each other. So we're going to shorten the distances we were going to run significantly. But anyway, so we're going to have a little race, but we're going to join hands. We're going to join hands, and we're going to run to a couple of destinations. And the point is, it's a race, but we all have to get there together. Okay? So we're not, no matter what, you have to make sure that even the older people get there safely, okay? So let's, yeah. So we're in a circle, and the first destination we'll make on the other side of that little tree.
Okay.
Ready, set, go. Okay. So far, so good. Okay. Do you think we can make it to that little sign thing?
Okay.
Ready, set, go. Very good. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go back to the front. Ready, set, go.
He's got us
Okay. Very good, kids.
Reverend Dan, can I go play in the park now?
Play in the park. You can do whatever you want. So I want to thank especially you three for going slow enough so that I could be a part of it. See, when people race, they will sometimes leave people behind. But we made certain that nobody fell down, that everybody made it safely to our destinations, and that everybody arrived safely together. So thank you. You did very, very well. In the old days, I would always give the kids candy, but I don't think that would be appropriate today.
Why not? Why not?
Thank you very much. And so now they say,
Oh, yes.
we're going to say God be with you. Ready?
Children.
God be
God be with you.
And also with you. Where I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it let it shine.
Psalm 133 is a song sung by the people of God as they went to Jerusalem to celebrate the various festivals of their faith. It prepared them to come together as a family, as kindred living in oneness. A reading of Psalm 133. How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. It is like precious oil poured on the head, running down on the beard, running down on Aaron's beard, down on the collar of his robe. It is as if the dew of Hermon were falling on Mount Zion, for there the Lord bestows his blessing, even life forevermore. Our second reading comes from the Epistle to the Philippians. In this beautiful letter to the early church of Philippi, Paul tells his followers how to live in community. A reading from Philippians chapter 2, beginning at verse 1. Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and of one mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. Our final reading comes from the Gospel according to John. On Jesus' final night, he offers a prayer for those he leaves behind. He prays that they might be one. A reading from John chapter 17, beginning at verse 21. The goal is for all of them to become one heart and mind, just as you, Father, are in me and I in you, so they might be one heart and mind with us. Then the world might believe that you, in fact, sent me. The same glory you gave me, I gave them, so they'll be as unified and together as we are. I in them and you in me. Then they'll be mature in this oneness and give the godless world evidence that you've sent me and loved them in the same way you've loved me. Father, I want those you gave me to be with me right where I am, so they can see my glory, the splendor you gave me, having loved me long before there ever was a world. Let us say responsively, here end the readings. May God speak to us through these sacred words.
Oh, friends, thank you for this incredible opportunity today, and a special thank you to Pastor Claire. If you're watching us online right now, Claire, Claire must have some sort of apostolic connection or pull, because as I've told a few of you, when I retired from parish ministry 4 years ago, just before I hung it up, I had this vivid dream one night, and I heard a voice speak to me. I thought it was God. And I thought God said to me, thank you, Dan. You can take a seat now. We've heard about enough from you. Which I took very seriously. So evidently, Pastor Claire has received some sort of heavenly dispensation to allow this to take place. Since then, I've been a hospice chaplain. And one of the really interesting pieces of being a hospice chaplain is the sorts of things that people want to talk about at the end of life. The conversations are different with folks at the end of life, in their last days and weeks and months. You know, things like the price of eggs or the stock market or even politics, they don't usually come up much. what people usually want to talk about are the holy things, the sacred things, things like maybe their faith or certainly their family, those who are with them on this journey. The reason that's interesting to me now, having been a hospice chaplain, is that I read those verses of Jesus in John 17 a little differently now, because these are really Jesus' last words. It's called the high priestly prayer, that chapter 17. And it's in John's gospel, it's the last kind of teaching, last prayer that Jesus has, and the disciples get to kind of listen in on it. So in a sense, these are the things that are most holy and sacred to Jesus. So what does Jesus pray for in these final words? He prays for his companions, his buddies along the way, and he prays also for his future companions. He prays for us, of all things. And he prays that we would be one, that we would somehow be one in love, in spirit, one in mission. The passage also has brought to mind to me my beginnings as a pastor. Because in 1987, I was ordained at the end of July, and a couple of weeks later, I found myself serving 3 little rural congregations south and west of Fargo, North Dakota. You can't get there from here. 20 miles south and 20 miles west, and you arrived at one of the 3 congregations named West Prairie Lutheran Church. It was right on Highway 46, which, if you're an engineer, it's the straightest highway ever built. Runs all the way across the state. Well, I was a brand new pastor, and it was soon time, after just a few months, for the annual meeting of West Prairie Lutheran Church to take place. And I wanted to be prepared because I'd heard some rumblings. I'd heard that some people were, that something big was going to come up at the, something big was going to come up at the meeting, and I didn't know what it was. They wouldn't tell me. I'd also heard some rumblings that some folks were disgruntled with the American Lutheran Church. I was a Lutheran pastor. The American Lutheran Church, soon to become the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America. So I thought, as a new seminary grad, it was my duty to defend the church at all cost. So I came to the meeting that day prepared. I brought the biggest Bible I had. Not this one. This is a Norwegian Bible I just discovered. That wouldn't have been much help. But and I also brought this puppy. Do you know what this is? This is the Book of Concord, which, Lutherans are rather cerebral. They're very, very, very doctrinal. And the Book of Concord, brief as it is, contains a synopsis of the important doctrines and documents of the Lutheran Church, all developed during the Reformation. So I came to the annual meeting loaded for bear. Well, the meeting began with a little dinner, and it was a gathering of friends and family, and followed then by the beginning of the meeting, and President Throne, as in the chair, Throne Lunder, called the meeting to order, asked me to offer an opening prayer, which I did, and then we did the statistical report. He asked if there was any old business, and there was none, and then we came to the time for new business. And I took a breath, because Mrs. Vangsness arose. And I thought to myself, here it comes. I'm ready. I'm ready. And she said, Mr. Chairman, I move that West Prairie Lutheran Church burn down its outhouse. I wasn't sure I heard her correctly, but she repeated it. She said, Mr. Chairman, I move that West Prairie Lutheran Church burn down its outhouse, which was, to be honest, a beautiful yellow two-holer on the side of the property underneath a beautiful shade tree. It was at that point that I set down my books. And I just sat and I listened as the motion was seconded, and then the arguments ensued. Strong arguments on both sides. So because this was on Highway 46, almost an hour south in West of Fargo, it was kind of a perfect little oasis along the way. Strangers would stop, relieve themselves. There was a little picnic table under the shade tree. So people argued that it was a gift of hospitality to the wayfaring stranger. That some even tried to argue that it was a mission outpost. That was a stretch. On the other side, there were folks who argued, and they tended to be the people who had to maintain it. They argued that these wayfaring strangers aren't necessarily very tidy or respectful of this yellow house. Well, the arguments went back and forth for about 30 minutes, and again, I sat in stunned silence. The seminary didn't prepare me for a discussion like this. At some point, someone called the question, and a vote, secret ballot, of course, was taken. People sat in silence until the votes were counted. And in the end, it turned out to be 17 to 15 to burn. And within a week, that yellow two-holer disappeared from sight. Now, even though it's maybe a humorous topic, what I was concerned about as a brand new pastor is people were rather upset. And the arguments were heated at points, and families were, again, they were a little divided over this. And I was worried about my congregation. So as on the way out, I visited with President Throne for a moment, and I just said, Throne, are we going to be okay? People seemed pretty upset. To which he smiled with sort of a fatherly smile. And he said, oh, Dan will be fine. He said this as though here we have to go break in another greenhorn. But he said, Dan will be fine. We love the Lord too much. And we love each other too much to let this break us up. We love the Lord too much, and we love each other too much to let this break us up. Looking back on that meeting now, all these years later, I'm kind of impressed by the fact that Jesus' prayer that this congregation out on Highway 46 remained one. They remained united. They were one in love. They were one in spirit. And they were one in mission without a yellow outhouse. So, Marianne and I are new kids to this community of faith. I have to tell you that I've been rather impressed with the way St. Croix United Church has taken on the many challenges and struggles of the past couple of years. I mean, when I think about it, golly, everybody here has had to give up a lot. One congregation has had to sort of give up their building. One congregation is giving up some land. Everybody has had to give up their precious name. Churches that have been in existence for dozens and dozens of years. Everybody has had to give up just the ways of doing church. You know, those little idiosyncratic ways of doing things. I mean, one congregation had to learn where the coffee pot was in this new building and how to make coffee. Again, coffee is a sacrament for Lutherans. Everyone here has had to give up a lot to create something more. And as I've been observing, this old pastor's been rather impressed with the way we've navigated this. Our leaders, our elected leaders, and our pastor has been pretty good about listening carefully to one another, loving people through this, paying close attention to any hurt or harm along the way. And the arguments the disagreements about every little decision that has been made has had legitimate arguments on both sides. They haven't been easy decisions. And yet it seems to me, as a new kid observing all of this, that St. Croix United is living up to its name, that we're fulfilling Jesus' prayer, that we would be one in love and in spirit and in mission. And going forward, as we shape this new vision, I trust that that will continue. That whatever we decide to do as a community of faith here in Bayport and Stillwater, that we'll go about it in light of Jesus' prayer, that we really will be united, that we'll be one in love with each other, and one in love with the Lord, and one in spirit, and one in mission. This old pastor thanks you. You've been an inspiration. Thank you for who you are, and thank you for who we will be. Amen.
Amen.
Sing Prayer and Praise, number 61, our prayer song. Continuing in a spirit of prayer, we come to our prayers of the people. Does anyone here have a joy or concern that you would like to voice aloud today? Jill.
Okay, well, I have a joy. Rolf and I flew to LA on a secret trip last weekend, and lo and behold, our daughter's boyfriend is now our future son-in-law, and Andrea is engaged, and it was a wonderful trip, and we just pray for blessings for her. She starts a new job, moves, and is engaged. A lot going on. So.
Wow.
So for Andrea's great news and Rolf and Jill's great news, and for all that the future holds, God, in your love,
Hear our prayer.